all in the near future.
Hello and welcome to the F&O Show on BloombergQuint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. I'm Darshan Mehta. Good morning, Agam.
Good morning, Darshan. I'm Agam Akil. Let's take a look at how the markets are faring. For now, of course, there's been a subdued activity, Darshan. What's standing out?
Yeah, let's take a look at the markets today. If you're looking at it, the Nifty is down by almost 0.2%. The Nifty Bank is down 130 points. So today it's seeing a little bit of weakness in terms of opening. Not much to talk about as far as where positions are being built. We are at the 12,100 mark. Let's see where positions are being built, and you can clearly see today it will be some of the call writers which would have become much more aggressive in trade. So from levels of 12,100 to higher levels, call writers are active, and put writers at 12,100 to lower levels. There is very strong support for the market at 12,000. So you can clearly see even in today's trade, in and around the 12,100 mark is where positions are being built. Agam, anything on the stock specific side?
Yes, absolutely. Let's take a look at all the stocks which are seeing an increase in open interest, and that should give us a better idea about where there is a lot more traction coming in today. And we should be also looking at something like an Escorts, where we have seen a drop around 1.4% in the stock in spot price, but a 12% increase in open interest indicating fresh shorts. Aurobindo Pharma, on the other hand, is looking at fresh longs. Motherson Sumi is in focus, considering the earnings are around the corner. Of course, it's down around 2% for now. We have Bata, which is down by around 2%. The earnings were in line with expectations. No hits or misses, no large hits or misses. But we also know that it has run up quite a bit, so which is why we're looking at about a profit taking possibly. And of course, IGL is the other one, which is in focus. Are we looking at any unwinding in today's day of trade? Let's pull that up as well and take a look at whether or not that is happening. Well, not much to talk for otherwise. But from there on, let's get in our experts for today. But before that, here's a reminder. If you have any queries regarding futures and options markets, you can call us on 022-454-04141. Of course, write to us on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube with the AskPQ hashtag. Today we have with us Ruchit, Jain of Angel Broking, and Brijesh Singh of StockAxis, who's joining us on the show. Good morning to both of you. Thanks for taking the time out. Brijesh, I start with you. What's the view forward for the benchmark indices from here on?
Good morning, Agam. Yesterday I was been on the closing show, and I said the Nifty looked little bit tiredness since on the hourly chart the oscillators have made the lower highs formation on the overbought zone, and Nifty is not able to surpass the level of 12,200, which would be a next hurdle to be seen on the chart. Now, still sticking with the same thing, overall trend is been bullish, but for a short-term trading bet or a swing-based trading bet has been considered. It's been, I think that small profit booking and after that a consolidation would be fine for the market to move to another higher level. So keeping this thing in mind, so when I posted my strategy, that time Nifty was trading somewhere around 12,105. So I was looking at least little bit hike if it comes, then 12,135 around if it trades, then for the future value, one can go on a sell side with the stop loss of 12,185 and play for the target of 12,070. Even the target can extend to the level of 12,040. For the bank Nifty has been concerned, 31,400 to 31,450 band would be acting as a resistance. It has to surpass on the closing basis. So use rise to go short with the stop loss of 31,450 and play for the target of 30,900. Even the target can be extended to the level of 30,750 mark.
Okay, Ruchit, good morning. What's your strategy? Firstly, your view on the indices and any strategy that you have?
Yeah, hi, very good morning to everyone. Yes, if we look at last few trading sessions, the V-shaped recovery that we have seen on the indices from the 200-day moving average, both in Nifty as well as the Bank Nifty, certainly indicates that that this is a resumption of the high degree uptrend and not just a pullback move. Now, another positive indication was that if you look at the futures data, then in last few days, initially there was a short covering move, because after expiry, if you see, then the FI's position was mostly on the short side. Even post that monthly expiry, the FI long short ratio was just around 17%. So in this up move, we have initially seen a good short covering move in Nifty as well as Bank Nifty, and if we see yesterday's data, The rise in open interest in banking space indicates that there now the fresh long positions have also been built. So I think many of the shorts have been covered, and now fresh longs are being built. So I don't think that there would be any significant downside that we would see from here on. In fact, this up move should get extended on the higher side. So we are advising our clients also to keep a buy on dips approach. Now, as per the options data, 12,000 put option is attracting good amount of open interest, so which is the support. So any minor declines, if we get in the range of 12,050 to 12,100, use that dip as a buying opportunity, keeping a stop loss below 11,950, and we expect higher targets around 12,300 before this expiry itself.
Okay. All right. That's your view on the indices. Let's talk about stocks too. Ruchit, I'll come back to you. Stocks which are looking interesting to you today?
A couple of buy recommendations. One is from the cement space, Ultratech Cement. In fact, we are quite positive on the entire cement space for the series. Good amount of long positions have been rolled over, and we expect this momentum to continue. So Ultratech Cement can be bought at current levels with stop below 4,440, expecting near-term targets of 4,700. And Canara Bank 195 call option would be my second recommendation to go long on. Probably the PSU banking space has seen a lot of underperformance, and since we have seen a resumption of the up move in the banking space as well now, so I think some good amount of short covering moves should take in many of the PSU banking names. Canara Bank 195 should be bought at current levels with stop below 2 rupees, expecting target somewhere around 13 to 14.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in. Brijesh, what's your sense? Any stocks that you want to speak on?
That's on two stocks, both on the buy sides. Individual stock would be performing as the index has been concerned. So my first call would be a PFC. Now the higher lows formation indicates the probability of the stocks to move up. And previously 123, 124 was been acting as a resistance, and today it has surpassed that resistance. It's been trading near the level of 124 and 125. So present rate can be used to go long with the stop loss of 119, play for the target of 135. The previous swing high is 138, so chances are that we can see that 138 also. Time frame to hold the counter would be 2 to 4 trading session. And another call is from a metal pack, that is a General Steel and Power. The stock, after breaking the downward channel slow from 144, it has consistently moving up, and previously 190 to 195 was been acting as a resistance, and today it has surpassed that resistance and made a new 50-week high of 202 around. So present rate or any dip can be used to go long with the strict stop loss of 197, play for the target of 210.
Okay, those are the stocks that have been spoken about. One stock which is doing extremely well in today's trade is United Spirits. It's up 5%. Let's pull up the chart and see what exactly that one is doing. It's up 5%. Decent volume increase. Brijesh, United Spirits, high open interest build up, stock up 5%. How should one play this counter?
That's a trend line breakout has been witnessed in it, and even the previous swing high of 977 around has been broken and is then moved up. So aggressive trading, if someone is looking, then keeping a stop loss 675 can be used to go long, and as a defensive bet has been concerned, then 668 would be the ideal stop loss. One can look out with the go with this 668 as a stop loss. Present rate and any dip till 685 can be used to go long, and the next resistance on the higher side, which I'm looking, is 705 to 707 zone. If we are able to surpass this level, then another 20 rupees upside can be set. But for short-term bet, 705 to 707 would be the ideal target, which we might be achieving within a couple of days.
Well, we do know about the fact that United Spirits has been losing out a lot of market share over the past few years, but some things seem to have changed over the past 1 quarter or so. And of course, the lack in this case was the fact that, they were spreading their bets between the popular segment, that is the mass segment, and as against the premium segment, prestige and above segment. But in the last quarter or two, what has emerged is that they are now starting to focus back only on the prestige and above segment. Of course, they do have head-on-head competition with the likes of Pernod Ricard, who have seen a stellar growth over the previous few years, for that matter. But I think the management commentary is certainly standing out. Of course, its earnings came in last week, and since it has done well, and we are seeing more and more institutional buying as well, which has come about, of course, indicated by the kind of gains that we are seeing. But from there on, let's move on and talk about Zee Entertainment. This is something that we spoke about yesterday as well. But today it's up another 3% right now. And the real question is, where do we go from here with this one? Ruchit, would you take a trade at all in Zee Entertainment, considering the kind of volatility it has seen of late?
Frankly, it's very difficult to place a trade over here because the volatility is high. Secondly, the stop losses would be quite far from where the stock is trading right now. We have been witnessing some unwinding in call options 230, 240. In fact, call options have seen some good amount of unwinding. So some short covering move could take the stock towards 250 to 55 range. I would advise that in case if someone is having existing long positions, then one can hold for target around 250, 255. But no, not advising to take any fresh trade over here.
Okay, all right. So from then on, I'll start taking up a few queries that we have. And the first one is on Bharti Airtel. We have Ramesh who wants an expiry view on Bharti Airtel for this particular month. He says that, is it good to sell the 560 call? That's what he wants to sell. It's not too far away from 560, currently at around 542. Brijesh, would you recommend him selling the 560 call of Bharti Airtel?
See, first of all, the stocks is in the bull phase right now on a daily chart as well as on the weekly charts, with making the higher tops and higher bottom formation and even making a new 50-week highs. Doesn't sound to go and sell a call right now. So, because the resistance which I have been looking where the supply would be coming is somewhere around 585 to 590 zone. So I would be avoiding this call to go and sell 560 call. Even if he wants to sell a call, then I would be suggesting somewhere around 600 is an ideal call where one can go and sell that call. Right now it is quoting at 202 rupees 40 paisa with keeping a stop loss of 3 rupees around. One can go and sell this call of 600, but 560 I would be avoiding.
Okay, Harshvardhan has two queries, one on Biocon and the second one on Jubilant Foodwork. So first, Ruchit, on you, Biocon, he just wants to know, is there any trade for Biocon in the next 1 week? Today it's managed to move up. A few days ago it fell down 7%, has recovered most of the losses. How should one play Biocon?
The last couple of months, the entire month of December and January, the prices have traded in the range of 307 to 280. So until we see a breakout on the either side, it's difficult to take a trade. My advice would be to wait for a breakout above the recent high of 308. Whenever we see a breakout, then you can take a fresh long trades over there.
Okay, that's your view on Biocon. Well, YRP, we have already addressed Ultratech Cement. One of our experts has a view on that one, so you can actually take that into consideration. And since we do have time to take just one more query, and it's an interesting one, we're going to take a repeat. Harshvardhan also wants a view on Jubilant Foodworks, the 1850 put. I believe Harshvardhan is interested in buying it. I mean, this is of course an assumption considering Jubilant Foodworks has run up quite a bit and there's expectations that it may look at a bout of profit taking if I am correct in my assumption. Brijesh, why don't you tell us about what your view on Jubilant Foodworks is and whether or not you would buy the 1850 put?
Stock on a daily chart had made the higher tops and higher bottom formation, and the stock had been making these higher tops and higher bottom formation from a level of 1070 around. The previous swing resistance was somewhere around 1645 around, and it has broken and it has moved up. Now it has been finding the profit booking zone. 1915 around is the resistance. So keeping that thing in mind, one can take one can buy a put of 1850, and if I'm not mistaken, 1815 put has been trading right now at 43 rupees. So a present rate or somewhere around 50 around if it trades, then also would be fine. But keeping a stop loss of 1950 on a cash level, on a future level, one can look out to buy. And downside, I'm looking stock at least going and touching a level of 1810. That is a level where the minor support has been there, and if we are breaking that level, then chances are that stock might even drift to the level of 1750. So one can look out to buy 1850 call.
Okay, fair enough, guys. But we have reached the end of the show, so I am going to take a moment to thank both our experts, Brijesh and Ruchit, for joining us and taking us through their views on the markets. Don't forget to log on to our futures and options pages on BloombergQuint.com as well.
With that, it's a wrap on today's edition of the F&O Show. For more news and updates, stay tuned to BloombergQuint.